everyone, and welcome to the October 2nd, 2012 meeting of the Downers Grove Village Council. It's my privilege to call this meeting to order. There are copies of our agenda on either side of the room tonight, and we will be following it, so I would encourage anyone who would like to follow along with us to please pick up a copy. There will be multiple opportunities for public comment, including a segment of the meeting where we entertain comments of a general nature with respect to items that are not on our agenda tonight. It is customary for us to begin our meetings by reciting the Pledge of Allegiance, so I would like to invite everyone at this point in time to please rise and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Terrific. Thank you very much. Now I'd like to ask our fine village clerk to please call the roll.
Commissioner Rankin?
Here.
Commissioner Barnett?
Here.
Commissioner Neustadt?
Here.
Commissioner Durkin?
Here.
Commissioner Waldrich?
Here.
Commissioner Schnell?
Here.
Mayor Tully?
Here. Thank you very much. All present and accounted for. That brings us to item 3 on our agenda, which pertains to the adoption of minutes of prior council meetings. And we have a few sets of minutes on our agenda for review and approval tonight. Our council meeting minutes from our regular meeting of September 18, 2012, and executive session minutes for release of various dates reflected on the agenda. Are there any questions, comments, or corrections to any of the minutes from any members of the council? Hearing none, do I have a motion to approve all of them as presented?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None? Those minutes will all be adopted. Just stop for a moment and take care of a couple of things. First of all, I would like to welcome a special guest that we have here tonight. As anyone knows who's been paying attention to Downers Grove lately, we have a new superintendent for School District 58 in town, and we are privileged to have her here tonight. Dr. Cremascoli is here in Village Hall. We'd like to invite her up to the podium and introduce herself to maybe the only 2 people in town that may not have had the opportunity to meet Carrie. We're very glad to have you here in Downers Grove. Your reputation preceded you, and you've already established yourself as a huge asset to the community in terms of the very strong educational facilities and resources we have in Downers Grove, and understanding how important that is to our mission here, whether it's economic development or anything else that makes this village great. Our schools are very important, and certainly the grade school is. So we welcome you here tonight. Thank you for being here, and the floor is yours.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Mayor Tully and members of the council. Thank you for having me here tonight. I really just wanted to come and make your acquaintance and thank you for the warm welcome to Downers Grove. I'm very pleased to be here as superintendent, but I'm also pleased to be here as a resident. I have been so terribly impressed by everything that's happening in our community. I think there's some really, really neat things happening. Certainly very proud of our schools. We're doing some great things there, but also really impressed by the support and the cooperation among each of the governmental entities here. So I want to thank you for that, and I hope to continue to foster that. Dave and I have had the opportunity to work together already on a couple of projects, and those have been going really well also. What I did bring to members of the council this evening is our annual report to the community, and that goes to each member of our community just as kind of a way of updating our community about some of the things that we've been working on and giving some financial updates as well. The other insert that you will see here is our Strategic Goals Action Plan. Members of the council might remember a couple of years back, we did some strategic planning as a district. We invited many of our community members in to speak regarding what they'd like to see in the future for our district. And so that culminated into a strategic plan. And we use that every year to set goals for ourselves so that we can continue to make progress in accomplishing what our community wanted in their schools. So each year we make a report in addition to this really pretty picture-filled report. We also have another report that kind of provides an update on our progress with regards to our strategic plan. And then this sets forth the things that we're going to be working on this year. So I just wanted you as the council to know what we will be working on this year, and I wanted to be here to answer any questions that you might have as well. So.
Well, terrific. Thank you, Dr. Cremascoli, for sharing that with us. We're, again, pleased to have you here. I know that the village has had a very strong relationship and great partnership with District 58, and we continue to look forward to additional opportunities to cooperate, communicate, and collaborate for the benefit of our shared constituents. And I know that we've all had conversations at one level or another, either with yourself, with your predecessor, and with members of the District 58 School Board in terms of way that we can work together to do things more efficiently and enhance services for the community, given the numerous challenges that we're all facing in that regard. And I know I look forward to exploring and thinking of new opportunities that we can take advantage of. And one of these days, we'll have that super retreat that I keep talking about, and maybe before 20-something. We'll get that done. But I think there are a lot of things, and I know all my colleagues agree, and as does village staff, that when the taxing bodies get together, both at the elected level and the administrative level, the ideas start to flow, and usually some very good things come out of it that help improve the community. So I will stop talking and turn it over to my colleagues to say if there are any questions or any other words of welcome that they would like to share. I've sucked all the air out of the room once again.
We can be repetitive.
No.
Well, terrific. Well, once again, welcome. We're glad to have you here, and thank you for being here tonight in particular.
Thank you. And if you think of questions or you just want to contact me regarding any issues that are coming up for you with regards to the school district, please feel free to give me a call. I'm just a phone call away, and I know that our staff welcomes our community coming into our buildings and helping together to provide really great services for our kids. So thank you.
Terrific. Thank you once again. Next item of business that I have to take care of before we dive into the meat of our agenda, I have a proclamation honoring Community Planning Month. And if there's nothing that we are proud of here in Downers Grove, it's planning. Whereas change is constant and affects all communities, and whereas community planning and plans can help manage this change in a way that provides better choices for how people work and live, and whereas community planning provides an opportunity for all residents to be meaningfully involved in making choices that determine the future of their community, and whereas the full benefits of planning requires public officials and citizens who understand, support, and demand excellence in planning and plan implementation. And whereas the month of October is designated as National Community Planning Month throughout the United States and its territories. And whereas we recognize the many valuable contributions made by professional community and regional planners of the Village of Downers Grove, and extend our heartfelt thanks for the continued commitment to public service by these professionals. Now, therefore, I, Martin T. Tully, Mayor of the Village of Downers Grove, do hereby proclaim the month of October 2012 as Community Planning Month in the Village of Downers Grove in conjunction with the celebration of National Community Planning Month. And I would invite Mr. David Reiner to come up and accept this as our chief and supreme planner. And point out that this is very appropriate because, speaking of planning, October also means budget month. So we will be doing some financial planning beginning this weekend, but you'll hear more about that later. So I'll come around. We should rehearse this. That's all right, we'll edit it out later. Congratulations. Doug planned by charging his phone. Thank you. And all kidding aside, planning is very important. A lot of the successes that we have been celebrating and will continue to celebrate are the result of a lot of careful, thoughtful, and sometimes meticulous planning by both staff in this council and prior councils. So it is actually something very important. Moving on, that brings us to item 4 on our agenda, public comments. This is a segment of the meeting that I promised earlier where we entertain general comments on matters not appearing on tonight's agenda. If there are any members of the audience that have any comments of a general nature they would like to share or questions they would like to pose to the council at this point in time, the protocol is to please come down to the podium, give us your name and address, and we would welcome hearing from you. Are there any questions or comments of a general nature? Please, sir. Good evening.
Good evening, sir. My name's Larry Abram. I live at 1170 Valley View Drive in the south part of town. And I didn't notice anything on the agenda, so I just thought I'd ask about what is the plans for the pond that's in the Valley View Estates section? Have you made a final decision on that yet, or I was seeing something in some earlier reports, you were either considering dredging or changing it into some sort of marshland.
That wasn't exactly the word that we used, but yes, there have been some discussions along the lines of what will be done in terms of remediating that pond, if something needs to be done, and I'll turn it over to Village Manager Fieldman.
And I will turn it over.
We'll turn it over to Deputy Village Manager Baker. No passing the buck, as it stops right there. Only one more seat at the table.
Right now, staff is in the process of evaluating options for the pond project based on some of the input and questions that were raised by residents at a meeting that was held back in September. So once those questions are answered, we plan to make them available on the website. So we have a dedicated website page that tracks the status of that project. And that page will be updated with any future information about the project, including meetings when it will come back to the council for further consideration. But we don't have a date set yet for when that will occur.
But no final decision's been made?
No final decision.
Okay.
Thank you. I appreciate that because I wanted to make sure we had the most current information, and you heard it.
Thank you.
You heard it here. You're welcome, and thank you for asking the question, because I'm sure you're not alone in wanting to know where things stand on that project. Any other questions of a general nature from any members of the audience? Hearing none, we'll move to item 5, public hearings. We have no public hearings tonight, so we'll move right to item 6, our consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented?
So moved.
Second.
Any questions or comments from any members of the audience with respect to the consent agenda or any of the items thereon? Any questions or comments from members of the Village Council with respect to the consent agenda? Hearing none, roll call please.
Commissioner Schnell?
Aye.
Commissioner Durkin?
Aye.
Commissioner Rankin?
Aye.
Commissioner Barnett?
Aye.
Commissioner Newstead?
Aye.
Commissioner Waldeck?
Aye.
Mayor Tully?
Aye, the consent agenda passes unanimously, which brings us to item 7, our active agenda. We have no items on our active agenda tonight, so we'll go right to item 8, first reading, which is also known as our workshop agenda, where items are presented for discussion and consideration and action at a later point in time potentially. We have 2 items on our workshop first reading segment of our agenda tonight, and as is customary, I will turn them over for presentation to Village Manager Fieldman.
The first item is consideration of a purchase of a diesel generator for the police department, and Mike Baker has the background information on this item.
Thanks, Dave. This item does recommend award of a contract to FH Passion and SN Nielsen and Associates for the installation of a generator that will provide continuous power to the police station. Currently, the police station has 2 smaller generators that service the most critical systems of that facility, such as the dispatch operations. This item was budgeted, and a staff team reviewed the project and determined that it really is in the best interest of the village to provide continuous power to this critical public safety facility that we rely on, especially in times of emergencies when large segments of the community may be without power. Be happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Thank you, Mr. Baker. Any questions or comments from any members of the audience with respect to this item? Any questions or comments from any members of the Village Council? Commissioner Newstead?
Just one real quick thing I'm happy to see in here. This is a large expense for the generator, but if there is plans for our facilities that may change in the future, this particular piece of equipment could be repurposed or relocated in the village if needed. That's in the information, which was great to see. Another quick question that just came up. The Fire Station 2 also has backup generators for any other extra space that may be needed in case of an even larger event where VOC needs to be kind of on their own, and then the rest of the operations needs to move together to a larger space.
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Rankin?
Some of you may know that we, as a family, have a business that does generators, but not this size. And so I was speaking to a colleague, and he shared with me that the reasoning behind the diesel is that some communities like the city of Chicago say that life safety generators, which this would be considered, have to be diesel. Because if there's a natural disaster, they don't want to risk that the gas line could be cut. So that was interesting to me. So my question, which I didn't ask ahead of time, is the generators that we have now, are those natural gas generators or are those diesel?
I believe those are diesel generators right now. We'll get that. I'll confirm and make sure.
Thank you, that was all I had.
Thank you, Commissioner. Other questions or comments from members of the council on this item? Hearing none. Next item, please.
The next item and the final item on our first reading agenda is a report from the president of the Downers Grove Economic Development Corporation, Mr. Michael Casa.
Good evening, Mr. Casa.
Good evening. Evening, Mr. Mayor and Commissioners. Michael Casa, President of the Downers Grove Economic Development Corporation, 2001 Butterfield Road, Suite 120 in Downers Grove. Thank you for giving me a few minutes to give a brief update from the Economic Development Corporation. When I appear before you in January, I'll be giving an annual report which will look back on all of 2012 in a very comprehensive way. Today, I thought I would recap some of the ongoing and completed projects over the past 6 months, as well as talk about some of the marketing initiatives that we're currently undertaking. Let me start with projects. I just decided to pick 15 as sort of a random number. Again, I'll look back over the past 6 months. Let me go through them. ASGE, which broke ground on their 45,000 square foot headquarters and training facility at Esplanade in the spring. Project will be completed in the spring of 2013 with occupancy in the building in the summer of 2013. Best Buy, they signed a 10-year lease extension for their Butterfield Road store. This was an important retention of a major anchor store. Chase Bank opened their new branch at Main and 63rd. Five Guys Burger and Fries opened their new restaurant at Ogden and Fairview. Flavor Chem, major expansion of their headquarters and production facilities at Oak Grove Business Park, which is north of Butterfield. The grand opening, it will be on November 2nd at 9 a.m., and invitations will be sent out to everyone here. I hope you can make it. Invesco Power Shares, which is relocating its regional Chicago area offices to Downers Grove, leasing 90,000 square feet of space at 3500 Lacey Road. Midwestern University, two large ongoing projects, the construction of their new facility and parking deck on Lacey Road, as well as the construction of a new 2,500-seat auditorium. Mr. Submarine, which is an Oasis project that resulted in the redevelopment of a closed KFC site into a new restaurant on Ogden Avenue. Newco Inc. completed the expansion of their headquarters and manufacturing facility in the Ellsworth Business Park. Packey Webb, Village Council recently approved a revised sales tax agreement that will result in the completion of public improvements at the intersection of Ogden and Finley. Painters USA opened a new 10,000 square foot warehouse facility in the Oak Grove Business Park. Poogie, a major presence on Ogden Avenue, has now completed their new VW dealership facility on Ogden, and it looks beautiful. Shop and Save currently is remodeling the former Michael's space at Downers Park Plaza and is projected opening right after the first of the year. State Farm, they're now completing relocation of 4 area offices into the West Chicago Operations Center on Opus Drive in Downers Grove. State Farm will now employ more than 600 people in Downers, making it's the second largest State Farm facility in the state and one of the largest in the country. And 2300 Wisconsin. This is a development project for 55 1,650 square foot office condos in the Ellsworth Business Park. Let me shift gears and talk a little bit about marketing, both for the Downers Grove Economic Development Corporation and the Downers Grove Visitors Bureau. Advertising. We purchase a decent amount of advertising to promote Downers Grove as a destination for businesses as well as for visitors. As an example, the EDC purchases advertising and site selection and real estate publications. There's an example of an ad that we did. You can't really see the text, but this was at a publication in which we were promoting headquarters and division facilities in our Class A office parks. And that's an example of something we'll do to, again, get Downers in front of decision makers. And then on the Visitors Bureau side, we purchase advertising in visitors guides and lifestyle publications. For example, the state and both the state and the region have their own visitors guides. We purchase significant ads in those, as well as lifestyle publications like the one that was recently in West Suburban Living, in which we had a role in providing them with photographs, with text, as well. And now we're turning that article into a professional reprint so we can give it out to people because it really does a good job telling our story. Collateral materials. Oasis. We are in the process of developing a new promotional, it'll be a large postcard that we can mail to all of the property owners and businesses in the TIF corridor on Ogden Avenue, and this will become our principal piece. There will also be some more detailed information on the criteria, on the application process, both on the village's website as well as on ours, but we're developing a piece that we hope will spark some interest, basically sending a message that your neighbors have been applying for grant money, why haven't you? And then hopefully they will then use this to contact the village or the EDC and begin that application process. The EDC is now, under our marketing director, Lisa Wenzel, is now developing some new collateral pieces that we use at trade shows and when we're dealing with clients. There's going to be a full color folder that's going to be the main part of it, and then within that folder there's going to be different topical pieces covering available sites, demographics, the zoning map, the land use map, the TIF district maps, but all of it will be, those will be developed primarily in-house so that we can update them periodically. One of the disadvantages of printing all of this stuff is that it gets outdated very quickly. So it'll all have the same look, but it'll be part of a full color folder that, again, we can use whenever we're dealing with any potential businesses looking to come to town. The visitor's guide. I remember when I was in my interview process and I brought from my previous employer a copy of the visitor's guide that Lisa Wenzel developed, and I remember Sean Durkin picking that up and saying, we need something like this in Downers Grove. Well, we will have that soon. The target date is in January. It'll be a full-color, comprehensive visitor's guide that will cover all of those reasons why someone should come to Downers Grove. And I think it'll be we've retained Miles Boone, one of the, probably the photographer in Downers, who's going to be shooting the cover next week. And so I think it'll be a great piece to promote Downers, and one that hopefully everyone will be proud of.
And of course, the schools will be prominently featured in that piece.
There will be a section on education. There will. Social media absolutely has to be a must when anyone is trying to promote their business or whatever they're trying to promote. We have a Facebook page that is updated daily. The Discover Downers Grove mobile app, which takes a lot of staff time to keep that updated. And one of the things we're looking to do beyond the app, now that it's been fully updated and we're getting more and more users, is we're looking to add a critical new feature that will allow any business on the app to be able to promote special features, special discounts. So if, for example, the Lemon Tree has got some special for that week, that app will be able to have that information on it. It's going to be a new feature that we're going to be able to add. Pinterest, which I'm told, is a social media platform where you can post photos. And so Amanda in our office is the one that goes on and posts photographs of things that have happened in Downers Grove on that platform. And we are going out to RFP, I believe, next week to develop 2 new websites, one for the Visitors Bureau and one for the EDC. If you know of a company that is really good in web design, we're going to be sending that out. Please forward the name to our office. We'd like to include them in the list. Trade shows. I'll mention 2 that are coming up right away. Coronet Global Summit. Coronet is the world's largest association of corporate real estate managers, principally for headquarters office facilities. Some industrial, some commercial, but most of it is on the office side. And this is their association. So economic developers need to reach out and interact with these people. The trade show is next week. I'll be part of that show, working a booth as well as having individual meetings. And the other one is the International Council of Shopping Centers, which is the Coronet, it's the counterpart to Coronet for the commercial development industry. If a community is serious about commercial development, this show is a must. I believe last year more than 100 Illinois municipalities were represented at this show. They have the main show, which is held in May in Clark County, Nevada, and the Chicago Deal-Making Show, which is tomorrow at Navy Pier. And I'll be working the Choose DuPage booth, as well as having individual meetings with several companies on the show floor. The last thing I wanted to mention before I ask you if you have any questions, the EDC has begun the process of developing a 5-year strategic plan. I'm a big believer in strategic plans. I've had some experience in it in my career. We formed a strategic planning committee, which is made of our current chair, Mark Cosenza, our past chair, Don Jankowski, our future chair, Scott Miller, as well as the village manager and the deputy manager. And we laid out a process to develop that strategic plan, which we hope will be wrapped up sometime next spring. And this will lay out how the EDC is going to accomplish all its goals, what those goals are, and then we're going to set up a process to report annually and quarterly on benchmarks so that people, whether they're residents or businesses or anyone who's interested, can look to see how we're doing in terms of achieving our goals. All the goals will be measurable. And so we will keep you in the loop as to how that's progressing, but I'm excited at the prospect of developing that plan as well as having it implemented over the next 5 years. A couple of comments, and I'll be happy to answer any questions. You know, a typical day for me at the EDC, and I'll tell you what my day was like today. It was a good day. At 7:30 this morning, I had a meeting that was set up by State Senator Ron Sandak and included Mayor Tully and Manager Fieldman with a consultant as well as a prominent developer that talked about the opportunities to bring a big box development to Downers Grove. And then at noon, I had lunch with a major national development company, one of their senior officials, as well as he brought his attorney along because they've got a specific project, a major office project that they'd like to have Downers consider, and they wanted to sort of learn about the process and about the opportunities. Every day of the week, my job is to tell Downers Grove's story. And if I tell it to the right people, eventually what happens is they bring a project forward, and that's when I get a chance to have them interact and work with the village staff. And then if hopefully eventually it gets to the council. One of the questions that almost every economic developer gets asked by their peers all the time is, what's the staff like, what's the council like? Because frankly, it's the staff and the council that make or break an economic developer. And I am happy to report to these folks when they ask that I'm very fortunate. We've got a very professional, pro-business staff that moves projects along very quickly. When my clients meet with the staff, they come away more excited than they were before the meeting happened on the opportunities here. And I want to thank the council because you have given me and the EDC tremendous support. I consider this a very pro-business community. And in particular, I want to thank the mayor and Sean Durkin for representing you on our executive committee and on our board. The support has just been tremendous. And I want to thank the community too. I've been here a little over a year, and Downers Grove has made me feel very welcome, something I know you're already feeling. Yesterday, thanks to a recommendation from Commissioner Rankin, I was elected to the board of directors of the Grove Foundation, and I'm looking forward to working with them. This is an important week for me. 20 years ago this week, I got into economic development, and I consider it a very happy time in my career that I'm here in Downers Grove. So thank you very much, and I'll be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Well, thank you, Michael, and happy anniversary.
Thank you. Thank you.
Any questions for Mr. Casa from any members of the council? Any questions from the audience? You didn't expect that, did you?
Carrie, it's not usually this easy.
No, you just take my calls daily.
That's right. He's got a special phone. Well, thank you very much, Michael.
Thank you.
Always good to see you, and thank you for the very thorough and comprehensive report, and keep up the good work.
Thank you very much.
We appreciate it.
That ends our first reading tonight, Mayor.
All right, terrific, thank you. That brings us to item 9, which is the mayor's report, and I have one item on the mayor's report, which is on every mayor's report, and that is our ComEd reliability report update. First, I want to thank everyone who came out on September 20th to the second annual town hall meeting. that the village hosted over at the Park District Recreation Center on Belmont, where executives from Commonwealth Edison came and reacted to the information that village staff presented in terms of how have we done since last year, actually how have they done since last year, and what more can be done going forward, and also listening to the concerns and issues that were presented by residents. I want to thank all the residents that came out, particularly I think the entire Deer Creek subdivision came out to that meeting and shared their views with respect to electrical reliability, the reliability of electrical service in their subdivision. And also we had some representatives in the business community that shared their views with respect to service issues, and want to thank all the representatives from Commonwealth Edison who were once again out in force, so that just about any question that was posed they were able to answer. The presentation that Commonwealth Edison gave at the September 20th Town Hall meeting has been posted to the village's website, so anyone who wasn't able to come out that night will know, as in the past, that we continually update the website here at the village to reflect any new information with respect to ComEd. The presentation that has now been posted, that was first given by ComEd at the Town Hall meeting, provides detail on the equipment upgrades and the tree trimming that ComEd has completed in the past year. And most of those improvements, both in equipment and tree trimming, should assist in reducing the number of outages caused by downed trees in the future. The report also shows the work that ComEd has committed to completing going forward in the areas within the village that were identified by village staff as still experiencing frequent outages. Our village staff continues to work with Commonwealth Edison to follow up on reliability issues that were raised by both businesses and residents at the Town Hall meeting. And as we indicated there, and we'll repeat again here tonight, we will continue to be advocates for members of the community in working with ComEd to maintain and enhance the reliability of electrical service in our community. We hope that it is our goal that the issues that were raised at the second annual Town Hall meeting will no longer be issues when we come to the third annual Town Hall meeting, which I'm sure we've already begun planning. So again, thanks to everyone who attended. Thanks for staff and all their hard work in putting that together. Allison gave a terrific presentation, and again, we appreciate the executives of Commonwealth Edison coming out, and I don't think I wouldn't say took it on the chin like last year, but they were there and they stood up and they answered the tough questions, and that was greatly appreciated, and we will continue to work with them in that regard. That's all I have with respect to the mayor's report. That brings us to item 10, the manager's report. Mr. Fieldman.
The proposed village FY13 budget has been published and is available for viewing online on the village's website. We invite everybody from the community who's interested in how we spend public tax dollars to come to the budget workshop this Saturday, 8 a.m. at Fire Station 2. Again, a budget workshop this Saturday morning, 8 a.m. at Fire Station 2. That ends our report tonight, Mayor.
Thank you very much. That brings us to item 11, attorney's report.
I have no report, Mayor.
No report tonight. All right. Well, here we are at item 12. Council member reports of new business, and I'm going to ask first if any council members have any new business before we get into reports. Is there any new business? Hearing none, now I will ask for council member reports. Commissioner Barnett?
I have nothing, Mayor.
Commissioner Durkin?
Yeah, I actually have two items, and I believe I kind of stole the thunder of staff, which I hope I didn't do, because if that's the case, I'm going to defer it back to you under my privilege.
All you, Commissioner Durkin. We actually have some visuals for you report out on the award.
Cool. I just want to report out, I know that, I sometimes, for one, always ask why we're always hiring new engineering firms or consultants or whatever, and this time I actually have something that I want to share with you that I think really, really stresses the type of people we have and the quality of people that we have working for the Village of Downers Grove. And if this is repetitive, I apologize, but I want to make it public up here. And this is in regards to the naturalized basin and stormwater improvements on 2nd Street and Cumner Road have earned Downers Grove the 2012 Outstanding Civil Engineering Achievement Award for projects under $5 million by the Illinois section of the American Society of Civil Engineers. And why I think this is extremely important is that this project was designed in-house by field engineers Nate Hawk and Andy Sickich, of course with the assistance of E3 Engineering. But just to be able to win an award like this, design a plan in-house with our own staff, I think is just remarkable. And I know that we take great pride in who our employees, and our employees take pride in working for us. And I really wanted just to pass this out and just comment and thank them for the job. And I know some people will say, well, they're doing their job, why are you thanking them? I've had those comments to me, but you know what? I think this is really going above and beyond, especially when you're recognized at such a high level, so.
And if I could add on to that, in 2008, we started our watershed infrastructure improvement plan, and we identified 15 high-priority projects. I think 14 of them are in the ground, and it's earned us 4 awards for engineering and achievement in stormwater management. That's quite an accomplishment. This is just one part of a very large story, and we will pass along the congratulations and thank yous from the Village Council to Nate and Andy. They did a great job.
Thank you.
Absolutely, thank you, Commissioner. And again, I think I'm speaking on behalf of all of us and how appreciative we are of that impressive accomplishment. Although, you know what this community is like, and Dr. Cremascoli knows this already, is next year they're going to say, well, now how come you're not going to win 5 awards? That's the high standards that we have here. Anything else, Commissioner?
Yeah, I actually have two other things. One is I attended a meeting where the Illinois Tollway Authority was talking about some of the 2012 milestones, and I'll present this to staff so we can put it in the minutes, or maybe staff can take it and put some of this information on our website as information only. I know that there's a lot of discussions about the $12 billion capital program, the increase in the tolls, but this is a piece that I received at this meeting that just talked about the traffic revenues, the creating of jobs, the economic engine that these redevelopments of the roadway is creating for the area, and more importantly, the building of the 21st century, which I know most of us, if not all of us, take the tollway somewhere somehow, so I'll pass that on. And the other thing I wanted to bring up was last week we actually, in front of our house, we had what I consider a pretty good sized main break, water main break. And I know I've had extensive discussions with the village manager about this, and I was just wondering if there was a way that we could put some information on our website in regards to the water main breaks. I know that on our street alone, we've had 4 of them within the last 9 months, I believe. This particular one was rather interesting because it happened, I guess I reported it like 5:30, 6 o'clock when I saw it. And unfortunately, our guys already went home. I'm sure they already showered. I'm sure they already ate breakfast or ate dinner. And they were sitting down with their families when their phones went off saying, come back in. And this one was rather unusual in my opinion because they actually had to replace several feet. I think it was like 10 feet of the pipe, which meant that they were there till about 3:30 in the morning after they worked with us for 8 hours. So I just thank them for their time and their dedication to our village to get the water back on. But if we could just put some general information out there about why we're seeing these main breaks, more importantly, in reference to the drought. I know a lot of people think the drought is because of, you get brown grass or dead bushes or whatever, but with the evaporation of the water, or the water from the soils, it's moving the soil away from the pipe, which creates a water hammer when someone turns it on and off, from the way it was explained to me. If we can just put some general information, I would greatly appreciate it.
Will do.
And I'll be quiet now. Thanks.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Neustadt.
Thank you, Mayor. Commissioner Durkin and I were named alumni ambassadors by the District 99 Education Foundation recently. Last Friday night, the South High Homecoming Social at the Moose Lodge was a great success. This Friday, October 5th, the Downers Grove North High Homecoming Social will take place at the Moose Lodge. All alumni and friends of District 99 are welcome to attend. The evening includes pizza from Scuttlebutts, wings from the Lemon Tree, popcorn from the Tivoli, entertainment, and a complimentary shuttle bus to and from the football game from the Moose Lodge. So I expect to be there. It sounds like it was a fun time last week and should be a good time this week. Tickets are available, but they're limited. You can check out the website at d99ef.org for ticket information, and I hope to see everybody out there. Thank you, Mayor. And I did wear my purple and yellow, or purple and baby blue Mustang tie tonight, just so I'm playing the middle line for the alumni.
Very diplomatic of you, Commissioner.
We won't talk about 2 Fridays ago and what happened on the football field. That's all I had for tonight.
I knew
Mayor.
this was coming. I should have been prepared. I didn't see it. I wear my blues in honor of, and no tie.
No tie. That's all I have tonight, Mayor.
Thank you.
We'll get
into the high school rivalries later. Commissioner Rankin.
In a couple weeks, Leicester School is having their Leicester Fun Run, and I know the mayor is going to run, and Mr. Baker, I think, is going to run, and I'll be there. There's still time to sign up. It's October 14th, a Sunday. They also have a kids' 1 mile race, which is a blast to watch because they're all sprinting full speed. And then about 2 blocks away, it's really, really great entertainment. So that starts at, the kids' 1K starts at 9 a.m., and then the grown-ups walk and run starts around 9:30. So you can still sign up, and the information is at funrun@lesterpta.com. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Of course, Commissioner Rankin was kind enough not to share that. I've actually signed up for the 1 mile kids run because that's about all I can handle. All right, I'll do the adult one, I guess. Right. Commissioner Waldeck.
Thank you, Mayor. A couple items just to tail off of what Manager Fieldman mentioned was Saturday is the first budget meeting. We have several planned, mostly I think all of them on Tuesdays, except for the coffee with the council. I make the annual plea for residents to get out there. Before I got on council, I attended. It's to find out where your money's going and to have input. It's really key that if you want to know what's going on in the village and what's planned, you attend those budget meetings. Also, on the EDC side of things, we have a couple, well, we'll say tens of thousands of residents in town. Part of the budget, a large part of the budget in our revenue comes from sales tax and economic development. And we have tens of thousands of people in town, and if you are all salespeople, you can do your part to help reduce your taxes and make this a better town by, if you realize your employer's wanting to relocate, let our EDC guy know. Or suggest to your friends, entrepreneurs, that we do a good business in Downers Grove, and they should locate here. So get out there and sell that. Help Mr. Casa sell Downers Grove. Hear, hear. Secondly, I know many of the seniors are probably way ahead of me on this, but we have a taxi subsidy program, and recently one of the major suppliers of those rides, Regional Taxi, was taken over by 303 Cabs. And it's important for our seniors to know that. Some of them are not very used to change, and they may suspect something going on, but that's really what happened. 303 is a larger cab company, took over Regional, but you'll also notice that the fares have changed as well. They have gone up. And so that you are aware of it, and I don't know, maybe somewhere along the line we can deal with 303 and try and get those fares back down to help our seniors. But that's all I have. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Schnell.
Just a comment. I think it's great that our public works projects are getting the accolades, and staff is really being recognized for the superior services that they provide to our community. But more importantly, I think behind all of this is the fact that the projects are actually working and are improving the quality of life for the people who live in the areas. A lot of these areas were, whenever it rained hard or even rained a little bit, there's flooding in basements and flooding in and around the homes, and that doesn't exist anymore. So in addition to our employees being thanked by public works associations, they really are being thanked by the community itself for doing the job that they did, because they did a great job. And I know we have some similar projects that will be going out this year to bid, again, to help alleviate flooding for residents in our community. So I think that's important to note too. Just in line with our budget meeting on Saturday morning at 7 o'clock, the farmers market does open up, and we only have 3 more weeks left of getting really good produce at a decent price. So you might want to visit the farmers market and then come over to the budget hearing, and you can bring it and put it on the table. And
right. But there's one requirement. If you're going to come to the budget meeting from the farmers market, you're required to check all your tomatoes at the door.
Well, that's, is that in case they're going to throw them at you or what? So, but anyway, not us, just you. It's important, though, I think, that we support the farmers market. It was interesting last time I was there, listening to some people talk about the fact that They live in another community to the west that has a reputation of being kind of the in community in DuPage County. And the woman was saying, yeah, this is the greatest farmers market I've ever been to. It's so much better than the community I live in. And then she mentioned the community she lives in. And I said, well, that's because you're in Downers Grove and this is a great market. So anyway, it really is truly a great farmers market. The Y has done a tremendous job managing it and making everything go smoothly. So 3 more weeks, I think, this weekend and then 2 weekends after that. 20th is the last time. So come out and support it.
Are there other communities west of 355?
There is one that supposedly has a much nicer downtown, but don't believe it, so.
I don't know. I know nothing of what you speak. Thank you, Commissioner. I have a few items to report. First of all, I just want to thank the Downers Grove Area Chamber of Commerce. Represented the Village Council at the Chamber of Commerce's annual gala event, which this year the theme was Denims and Diamonds. It was held at Doubletree Hotel here in Downers Grove. A fine evening was had by all, and Laura Nyberg with Good Samaritan Hospital was honored as the Enterprise Award winner, and it was a very impressive set of accolades that were bestowed upon her, and her various contributions to the community were recognized and duly deserved. So once again, I want to thank and congratulate Laura Nyberg for her good citizenship here in Downers Grove. On the next day, let's see, that was Friday. The next day, Saturday morning, I attended the Midwestern University's annual free health fair, which is held on the campus of Midwestern University. And apparently they've been doing this for over a decade, offering free health screening services to members of the community, blood, glucose, cholesterol screening, vision screening, flu shots, really a comprehensive set of services, all for free to those who attend. And they're all provided by the students in the various colleges there, of course under the oversight of actual physicians, but it gives the students an opportunity to apply their craft, if you will, in a real setting and yet provide a valuable service to the community. Quite impressive group of students, as we know from the pharmacy students that were here at Village Hall not too long ago. I met and saw a number of them again, and I got to tell you, they're even more impressive when you get to speak to them at length than they were when they were here. Midwestern University is truly a terrific asset, as we all know, to have in our community. So I was very glad to be there and did take a needle in the arm in support of my community. So, and I just asked they made sure it was a sharp one and not a dull one. So I want to thank Midwestern University for that, and really, again, a really impressive resource that we have here within our community. Speaking of another impressive resource, this morning I was very fortunate to be a guest at a ribbon cutting for a dialysis center. Not just a dialysis center, but a state-of-the-art dialysis center that is one of the ones operated by U.S. Renal Care. They are opening up a number of facilities throughout the United States in order to make those who need to seek dialysis services able to do it in a far more welcoming and humane environment. It's not that you would wish that anyone would have to have a dialysis service, but if you did, this is the place where you or your loved ones would want to go. This is only the second location that U.S. Renal Care has opened in the state of Illinois, and they chose Downers Grove. The facility is located just west of the Red Roof Inn on Butterfield Road here in Downers Grove, and really state-of-the-art, and really has taken the quality of care and quality of life for their patients to another level. I want to thank Drs. Ralph and Ahmed for their hospitality, as well as all the staff of U.S. Renal Care. It was a very impressive event. Not only was Walter Payton's widow, Connie Payton, there as one of the speakers, but Illinois Secretary of State Jesse White came out and was one of the featured speakers at the event. So it was quite an undertaking, and we were very glad that they chose Downers Grove as one of their locations, because this yet adds another facility and convenience for our residents and gives them more health care options. So we're glad to see that. As I mentioned there, we are truly blessed to have Midwestern University, Good Samaritan Hospital, which Dave Fox reminded us at the Chamber event is one of the top 5 hospitals in the state of Illinois. And now to have this facility here as one of the only second ones in the state of Illinois is truly terrific. And just to bring everything full circle, I thought it was really terrific that both Drs. Ralph and Ahmed both trained at Midwestern University. So in many respects, they came home to Downers Grove in setting up this facility. So we wish them much success. We've already touched upon the budget meeting that we have this Saturday. And if you, after you leave the farmer's market and you come to the budget meeting, if you have some time, and we finish up early, you might want to head over to the Downers Grove Sanitary District, because they're having their annual open house over at their wastewater treatment facility. And you'd be surprised how many people don't even know where the Downers Grove Sanitary District is, much less that it's separate from the village of Downers Grove. But if you want to know what they do and where they're at and where your tax dollars go for that organization, their open house is this Saturday, October 6th, from 9 till noon. So if we wrap up early, I'll give people time to run over there at 5003 Walnut Avenue. There's a map on their website. For those who don't know where it is, can find it. But please, if you can, do come to the budget meeting, or at least participate in any way that you can, because as my colleagues have mentioned, this is the opportunity where we talk about the budget and the financial plan for the entire year. One thing that we often mention is that when the budget is finalized, what then happens over the next year as that budget is implemented is largely driven by that document and what has been decided and laid out. So if you ever want to see a preview of what you can expect for an entire council year, that budget document is a pretty good guide. So it's an opportunity to get involved in the front end. Please come out, see how your tax dollars are managed, and I think you'll come away with a pretty convincing understanding that village staff and council are being good stewards of our tax dollars. That's all I have. So with that, I will ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Schnell?
Aye.
Commissioner Durkin?
Aye.
Commissioner Rankin?
Aye.
Commissioner Barnett?
Aye.
Commissioner Newstead?
Aye.
Commissioner Waldeck?
Aye.
Mayor Tully?
Aye. We are adjourned. Thank you and good night.
That was actually amazing.